one of my friends got really into Magic the Gathering.
Really? Okay.
Like way too into it. And
How into it was he?
we had to have an intervention with him.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
that got
I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat. I'm unloading the meat. I'm loading the meat.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite local dispensary, who could be sponsoring this episode. Hey, local dispensaries, I love this bong, this cartridge and pin. Ooh, this new cartridge I haven't opened yet. What's that? What? This ad's for non-smoking? They don't want drug use in this ad? Oh. What was I saying? I'm high as fuck. Is that thing on? All right, guys. Are you ready for this? I said, are you fucking ready? This next guy coming in to the Unloading Meat Studios is the one, the only, the electrifying, because he's a fucking electrician, Jace Kinzer. What's up, Jace?
How's it going, man?
Dude, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Hopefully you didn't have a bad time or a hard time getting here.
Oh, no. Bartlesville's not as bad as where I grew up.
Yeah. Oh, really?
No.
Where'd you grow up?
Verdigris.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that off camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first off, how did you get from Verdigris to this Tulsa scene?
So, growing up out there, I mean, there's not really shit to do.
Yeah.
Garrett Barbie knows better than anybody else.
Shout out to Garrett Barbie. He was
Yeah.
great on here.
Love that motherfucker. But I found some friends in Verdigris that were hanging out in Tulsa and started hanging out in Tulsa at a very young age and sneaking into bars and shit.
Nice.
Yeah, now that I'm as old as I am, looking back, I'm like, in hindsight, it probably wasn't a fucking good idea. But yeah, shout out to Yeti.
Shout out to Yeti. Don't know him, but shout out.
It was a really cool bar back in the day.
Oh, okay.
It closed down, but yeah.
Then I, retrieve or renege on my shout out because they're no longer there, I guess. That's what happens when you improper shout out, guys, and you don't know who the fuck you're shouting out.
It was it's now Empire Slice House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that building. But a lot of good memories there.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I just had a couple friends that were hanging out in Tulsa, and I got brought along when I was like 15. Didn't have a car. We just go out and hang out there. Yeah, that's how I wandered myself into Tulsa.
How long have you been in the scene for comedy, as far as total, you think?
Year and 6 months.
Year and 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. So, damn, you're coming up. How you been enjoying it so far? Like, what is? Give me some of your takes on the scene so far. How are you feeling about the Tulsa scene right now?
I mean, I love doing comedy. Like, my dad used to buy me like Richard Pryor vinyls whenever I was growing up. Like every year for my birthday, he'd buy me like a new comedy vinyl.
Nice.
And to like throw on my record player. And that's how I grew up. I grew up watching Seinfeld with him. I wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon, but my dad's
What?
My dad's fucking version of us like bonding and like enjoying things together entertainment wise was him and I sitting and watching Seinfeld.
Okay. I can dig it.
Anything that had to do with Mel Brooks. Like my dad showed me Blazing Saddles when I was 10.
Ooh, yeah. I love Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, that is I mean, you obviously couldn't do that today.
No.
But it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of led me there, like in the back of my head. But I was going through kind of a bad breakup whenever I started doing comedy, and that really pushed me more into it. So for the first year I was doing comedy, I was going to every mic like 5 days out of the week if I could.
Damn.
And also waking up at 6 a.m. And after that first year, I was like, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And like I was emotionally like exhausted from it. But yeah, the first time I went up, I lost a game of rock paper scissors.
Really?
to my buddy, and he was like, "You say you're so fucking funny, like Rochambeau for it. Go up." And I haven't stopped.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love hearing people's unique stories of like how they started.
Yeah.
Like and like that's pretty cool. I've never heard of Rochambeau open mic or going up for stage. Yeah.
I didn't expect to ever even end up doing this.
Yeah.
But because I'm not really, I was nonverbal until I was about 6.
Really?
Yeah. So talking for fun now is kind of weird.
Yeah. I can relate. I mean, I went through speech therapy growing up, and like I have a little bit of a speech. I have what they call a fat tongue or a lazy tongue.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, of course, everything on me is fat, but like, yeah.
The
Spoiler.
self-deprecation.
Yeah, spoiler alert. But no, I went through speech therapy, and I have a lot of anxiety about my speech impediment sometimes, and like it doesn't really come up, and most of the time when I bring it up, people don't even say they notice. It's
Mhm.
not until I bring it up and I get really in my head about it that it starts coming out and I start stumbling over my tongue,
Yeah.
and then you start picking it up. And it's more like once I start thinking about it, I fuck myself up. I get in my own head,
Oh yeah, for sure.
as you can hear me say the word fuck.
How did you get into comedy?
So, I tried it. I've always been a fan.
Yeah.
I tried it, and I've talked on the podcast before. I tried at this time. It's about 15 years ago. Long story short, I did a couple open mics, and I thought I was banned for a bit, and it came out it was some shit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, okay, I'm banned from this place. I stopped for 15 years or 14 years because I didn't think it was the loony bin. Anyway, last year Katie Styles did an open mic at Tulsa Comedy Club like in May or so, and I was just like, I saw
that woman.
I love that woman to death. She is my final guest of season 1. It's gonna come out in June.
Okay.
She's in a way I end the season.
All right.
And we had a fucking great episode. It was like 2
Yeah.
hours.
Okay.
I love that woman to death. But she did an open mic, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna try. Tried it, and literally as I went up, that was one of the last 3. She get handed a note from Tulsa Comedy Club, and she goes, unfortunately, the last 3 we're gonna have to cut you down to 4 minutes each. Up next, Jared Ralphie Allen. And as I'm walking up, I have to shave a minute off my set.
What
and
the
I'm
fuck?
like, fuck. So I'm like, of course I don't do great.
Yeah.
It's not good. And yeah, we can leave this part in, but like it wasn't great. Especially when I had parts where I'm like bending over a stool comparing how me and my ex-wife gave blowjobs. Yeah. As one is to do. But I got through it and got my nerves
Yeah.
out, and I had a good time. And then I didn't go back for a while, and then Roscoe had one in January of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And actually backtracked for the Katie Styles one. After I got my feet wet, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, this is fun. I got my energy. Like, when I'm on stage, I'm fucking alive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you feel something similar when you're like performing. It's just something like clicks in your head.
It's something that like it just comes out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a very outgoing human being.
Neither am
I'm
I.
very introverted. I don't like. I have my people. I don't really dwell
Socialize,
outside of I definitely stay in my comfort zone with my comfort people.
Yeah, I'm the same exact way.
But when I get on stage, I am able to it just shuts off.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
It's like we're meant to be there or something like that. It's just like we finally found our place kind of thing. At least for me.
I mean, comedy in general is just a band of misfits and broken toys.
That's fucking facts.
Yeah, like, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like all these toys aren't broken, but yeah, they
Yeah.
all belong together.
I'm a little high right now, so we're
You're
going a little
good.
back and forth.
I'm sleep deprived, so we're on the same page.
Yeah. Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of slow. No, but like I did that Katie Styles one, got my feet wet, and I was like, okay, something clicked here. I'm supposed to be doing something on the stage or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'd already been working on this podcast and this set and everything like that for like a year or so in COVID. But like,
It's beautiful.
thank you. I appreciate that, man. But like, I worked on it and I was still trying to figure out what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I spent that time from like May or so when she did that in 2022 till about January 2023, just kind of formulating all this, getting this built and finished up and getting cameras and everything set up. And then in January, I saw Roscoe had an open mic. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Did an open mic, did a good 5 minutes. So much so that he said, "Hey, if I call your name, one of the these 5 people at the end, come see us afterwards." And I was one of the 5.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hey, we're gonna go out to
I
the
remember was it the
colony."
showcase set they did? They were like doing a like.
Well, it was
best-
an open. It was an open mic in
like
January.
best set of that open mic won a spot on.
I don't remember if it was that or not. It was just I just went to this open mic.
Okay.
It was a Tulsa Comedy Club.
Oh shit! Okay, no, different one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, he just like, "Hey, if I call your name afterwards, come see us afterwards," just like that. And I was one of like the 5 names, and so we hung out with him and Katie afterwards. That's where I first met them, those two. And they invited me out to the colony, and Conrad was having a show out there, I think. And then Missy was out there, and a whole bunch of other people in the basically it was like everybody in the Tulsa scene was there that night at the colony for just hanging out. A lot of people. I met Zach even that night, and a couple other people. It was in January. It was a colony show. Some bands. I may have met you there. I don't know if you were not.
Yeah, no, I think I would. Yeah, I met you there.
Okay,
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
so I met a whole bunch of people there, and Ross kind of like went by one and like introduced me. He was like, "Hey, this is Jared Ralphie Allen. He did open mic tonight. Very funny." And he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, that's how we met.
That's how we met.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that night. And low key, that night changed my life because I was like, I finally found my fucking people. Like I felt so embraced and happy, and like I had a great set for my first really time doing it that year.
Yeah.
And that's what changed this entire podcast because I was like, somebody should be doing a show and talking to these people. And I was
interesting but damaged. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? I was just like, there's so much talent here. There's so much fucking like that night I had people playing live music. There was burlesque people there. There's people from the stand-up show.
Yep.
All mixing together in Tulsa at the colony.
There's a picture of, I'm not sure if you're in it, but we're all like by the pool table out back of the or in the back of the colony.
Yeah.
And I showed my mom the picture. I was like, these are my friends I've met through comedy.
Yeah.
She was like, y'all look so like just a mosh podge of fucking
Yeah.
people. I'm like, yeah, it's a motley crew of fucking.
But it fucking works, right?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Like all of us, we just the cohesion between our personalities is fucking amazing.
Like a Fast and the Furious poster.
Yep.
It's all about fucking family.
God damn it! Not the Fast and Furious.
You can be Jason Momoa with the hair.
I got to get a little bit bigger.
A little bit. I mean, you could steal some from me.
No, but back onto the
I wish.
starting comedy. So Evan Hughes put me on my first show.
Okay.
I reached out to him, and basically he's the only person I knew at the time personally that would be able to give me advice on it. He just gave me a list of open mics and stuff. And then the next day he was like, "Hey, do you want to be on the show at Heirloom?" I was like, "Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't say no to stuff."
Yeah.
That's one rule that I have is I don't say no. No matter if I have to drive to Kansas City to do stand up, I don't say no.
Yeah.
But I go do this show at Heirloom, and I did in my mind really well for a first show.
Yeah.
In hindsight, like where I'm at now, it was dog shit, but I felt really good about it.
Yeah.
And then Missy came up to me after. Shout out, Mom.
Shout out, Missy. Love you, fam. Love you.
She's my comedy mom.
She's a lot of our comedy moms. Like,
Yeah.
honestly.
She is an emotional support human being.
Yeah, she is. She is. And we love you,
But-
Missy.
But yeah, she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, do you want to be friends?" Essentially. And
I love that.
then-
I love that. That's her.
Yeah, brought me into like the group of people that I know now, and from then on, just like best friends. JB is another one that really kind of took me under his wing. JB Watkins.
Oh yeah. Shout out JB. I love JB.
I remember when he went to Chicago, and I was like, "Shit, man, we're losing one of the good ones." I was kind of mad at him, and then came back.
We see. I mean, there's several people I've heard in this scene that have gone to Chicago and come back, or like have dabbled in Chicago. And I know it's a very popular place for comedy, of course.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but it just I've seen. I mean, I think there's not that I'll name them on there, but I've heard several people go to Chicago or been affected by Chicago in this Tulsa scene.
But and then so after my I separated with my fiance. Had to find a new place to live, obviously, and I wanted to stay in Tulsa because the other option was going out to Bristow.
Yeah.
And that would have been really hard for me to be coming and doing comedy. and Roscoe and Katie let me stay in their sunroom
Oh
for a
wow.
couple months while I figured stuff out, and that was honestly the best thing. Like, so fucking helpful for keeping me in comedy. I was leaving Yeti one night, and I stumbled out, and this cop was like slow rolling by, and I guess I stumbled a little bit, which is probably true. But he yelled at me, and he was like, "Hey, stop." And I looked at him and said, "Fuck no," and then just ran.
As one is to do.
Yeah. I was like, it's just me being defiant.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck you, no." Got tackled. Got put in moss for a week and a half.
Fucking tackled?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, with all of his gear on too. It was super fun. I had like quarter pound of weed in my backpack. So yeah, but everything got dropped because he beat the shit out of me.
Holy fuck, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I spent a week and a half in Moss and didn't call anyone. I was like, I'm just gonna ride this out until I go to court. Ended up going to court. Judge was like, well, since his body cam footage shows him beating the shit out of you, we can't really do anything about this.
Yeah.
So stop being a shithead. Have fun. And I walked home. I lived on 11th and Yale with my brother. And I walked home and he's like, where the fuck have you been? I was like, you didn't put out like a missing persons report about me for a week and a half, you asshole?
Family.
Yeah. I love my brother. He's awesome. But no, he and I moved into that house when my parents moved to Minnesota. I was about 17. So a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old living in a house by themselves, just
chaos.
Debauchery.
Yeah.
It was debauchery. At its
What
finest.
could go wrong?
Oh, we had like 4 or 5 friends that were revolving doors living in the house.
Oh shit.
One of our buddies was a welder, so like on the pipeline, so he'd like be gone for 3 months and then just show up at the door and be like, "Hey, you still got that inflatable mattress? I'm back in town." But yeah, no, that house was just full of life. We had we used to invite the entire bar back to the house. Like, the parties there were just stupid. But it was this like quaint little neighborhood right next to you.
Yeah.
And all of our neighbors were over the age of probably 60. Our neighbor to our right was a pastor.
Oh wow.
Who would come over and smoke weed and drink with us all the fucking time.
Nice.
Awesome dude.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like
not gonna name him, but fuck yeah.
It's an awesome neighbor.
Yeah. He was also a social worker. And one night my brother and I were smoking on the back porch and we heard the loudest explosion I've heard in my entire life, and I've shot tannerite before.
Okay.
And someone came by, like, so I said he was a social worker. He was working a case on this family that was like abusing their children, and he got them rehomed to like a better place. And the parents found out where he lived.
Oh,
they made a fucking bomb, like a homemade pipe bomb, and put it in their trash can, and it blew up.
Did it hurt them or anything, or just?
It shattered all of our front windows and their front windows because it sent shrapnel everywhere.
But did it hurt the people or anything?
Oh no, no. They were asleep. We were the only one. It was like 4 a.m.
Because I have to decide if it's horrible or hilarious depending on how hard.
I mean, we can make it funny no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. Punch it up. Punch that shit up, Jace. Okay.
But
Unloading meat. You gotta punch this shit up. We gotta have some fucking blow up dolls going everywhere or something like that. Something.
No, but that house was that house was a fucking great time and place that should never happen again. I remember one morning after one of the parties we had, I walked outside to go smoke a cigarette and enjoy my regret of what I ingested last night.
Yeah.
And I look over at our front porch bushes, and someone had taken Bush Light cans and stabbed them onto the branches, so it looked like the bush was growing Bush Light.
What the fuck?
Like 80 of them. I was like, that
Why?
that took so much effort, and
Yeah.
it's so fucking funny. I can't even be mad about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I left him there for a couple weeks. I was like, this is hilarious, and I'm not changing it.
It's
Like,
just,
these are just decorations.
it's fucking art.
Yeah, it was honestly like just very obscure
Could have
art.
been Shia LaBeouf during that period of his time where he was fucking doing those fucking art installations everywhere.
Some Banksy shit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, living over there, and then I moved to Colorado for a while.
Okay.
I worked at a startup out there, but it was kind of a weird culture shock moving there
Okay.
because I'm used to like people in Oklahoma that are like genuinely nice, but they say like mean shit to each other. Out there, they're passive aggressively nice. Like they'll honk at you and then wave at you and smile, kind of shit.
Yeah, that is kind of passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the example. And I was like, yeah, okay, that matches.
and
Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
that tracks.
It's kind of like how people say Minnesota nice. It's just passive aggressive.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Oh. Nova
But,
Scotia. That's my Minnesota.
My parents lived in Minnesota for about 2 years, and I went up to visit them maybe once. Yeah, it was one time, and yeah, I fucking hate it up there. My ex is from Wisconsin, and every single time we go up there and visit, fuck that place.
Really?
I don't. It's cold. It's unlivable, and all the restaurants, even like McDonald's, has patios.
Yeah.
For their 2 months of the year that they can use them.
Yeah, I was like, why?
What the fuck?
Why would you? That's a good point.
I don't understand why you. Yeah.
It's like I dated a girl once from Albany, New York, and she flew me up there a couple times. And she flew me up there once, and I flew up there once. You know, back and forth. Anyway, the first time I went up there was like right before a blizzard happened, and we got snowed in.
Yeah.
And like we were just trapped there in a weekend. Like she lived on this double wide and had a fucking back porch, and the whole back porch was just fucking covered. Like you couldn't even get out the sliding door; it was just covered in ice and snow. So much so she goes, "Oh, that's no problem. We're used to this."
Yeah.
Like you could open the sliding door and it was just nothing but snow, just a wall of snow. You couldn't even see out. So we just started putting the beers through the ice, and we would just have a sliding door for the fridge. And basically, it was like a fridge for the beers out there on the snow, and it worked great.
When I lived in Colorado, we would just set our 30s out in the back patio.
Yeah.
Because like we don't need to fill the fridge with beer. It's fucking cold as shit outside.
Yeah.
I remember getting snowed. So in Colorado, their version of Vegas is called Blackhawk,
Mhm.
and it's up on this fucking mountain. It's just this strip of fucking casinos and bars and all sorts of
You
shit.
can smell the syphilis from here.
Yeah, really. Like literally you can. But we would go up there all the time, and I would play table games, and we'd gamble and just have fun. And the first time a blizzard hit us,
Yeah.
we got snowed the fuck in on top of this mountain. I was like, I have to go to work tomorrow. Fuck. I was like, I'm gonna get fired. I don't know what to do about this. So I call my boss and I'm like, hey, I'm up on top of this mountain. There's a shit ton of snow. Like I literally can't even see my GTI at this time. Like
Yeah.
it's covered. Like you can't see cars. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Just get out of there when you can. It's like, what?
Just whenever, you know.
Like, oh, that's normal here. Holy fuck. It's like, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me still have my job. Now living up there was honestly a blast and just life changing a little bit. But I always end up drifting back to Tulsa no matter where I move. I lived in Arkansas for a while. I went to school there at U of A and got my degree in psychology. And now I'm an electrician. If that gives any kids in the world out there that want to go to college and think that that's actually going to help them anything, yeah, don't go to school. Learn a trade.
I mean, I went to I could say I went to RSU for a semester and I flunked out because I got addicted to World of Warcraft. But hey, that's how I met that chick in fucking Albany, and she flew me up there. True story. I was like a WoW whore.
Really?
Yeah, literally. I had 4 different women. 3 of them were successfully that wanted me to fly down there and basically fuck them.
That's fucking awesome.
Including my first wife. True story. I met my first
I love that for you.
I met my first wife in WoW. And Yeah, she was in San Antonio, and I eventually moved her up here and married her, and then that didn't work out. So, spoiler: I didn't pay for the next expansion. Hashtag child support.
Oh God.
Nah. But yeah, that happened, and then I had that chick in Albany, and then I had another chick in Durant, Oklahoma. That wanted me to
that place.
Yeah. This is a true story though. Yeah, we're gonna go to a single here for this story. After the chick in Albany flew me up there was a guy. Are you familiar with WoW at all, or like those games? There's like things called guilds, it's like groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were all in a guild doing stuff like that. So I was fucking her. There was a guy named, his character's name was like Hetheth or something like that. He was in there and he was trying to get in with her, but she like denied him. And like as I got there in Albany, like she was playing WoW, and like he was in there like, who you hanging out with? And he's like, so and so's there with you? Like he freaked out.
Yeah.
Flash forward to like a year later, I'm with this other chick in Durant, and she played WoW, and like I went down there, and come to find out I'm there to take her out on her birthday, just because I was basically the revenge fuck.
Oh God.
Yeah. I found out that as I got down there, she broke up with her boyfriend, but he was still living there. And he had a broken leg and had a cast. And so he was just living on the couch at the front door. And so as I went to pick her up for her birthday date, he's at the front door, and I'm like, hi. And I picked her up and fucked the shit out of her. But anyway, as I'm there, she's playing WoW in her back room. And we're all in the group, and Hethus is in the guild and stuff like that still. And he was trying to hit on her. And so like for a second time, I cock-blocked him with two different people. One in Durant, Oklahoma, one in Albany. The same dude got cock-blocked. Yeah. Like he was like in the group too, and he was just like trying to hit on her, and it was just a running joke that I'm the guild master, bro.
You're 2-0, bro.
Yeah. I always use protection. I brought a shield, +1 stamina.
No, I played WoW for a little bit. I was more into RuneScape.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see it.
On that kind of, I guess, subject, one of my friends got really into Magic the Gathering.
Really? Okay.
Like way too into it. And
how into it was he?
We had to have an intervention with him.
Oh shit! Okay,
Yeah.
that got. That's gonna be the clip for the fucking intro.
We literally had to have a fucking intervention with him about this shit. He was spending his entire paycheck on Magic the Gathering cards.
Fuck!
So, a grand, like, every 2 weeks was going straight to Magic cards.
Oh my God.
For my birthday one year, he gave me the Jace card. And I was like, "Aw, buddy, thank you. But also, stop buying Magic cards. You are ruining your life." It was...
This is where we get the fucking, like, NBC, the more you know. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. No, I never thought I'd be a part of an intervention, because that shit sounds weird as fuck to me. I mean, I watch Hoarders for funsies to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
But
I just end up marrying them.
But
maybe I am one. No, this is fucking decorative.
this is beautiful.
Yeah.
No, this is okay.
This is art.
My ex.
You hear that? You hear that, family? You hear that, mom and dad? This is fucking art.
It's fucking art.
They're not toys. They are action figures and collectibles.
Very collectible.
Yeah. Except for the plush, those are dolls.
No, or the house I lived in on Riverside with my ex.
Wait, you're a Riverside person?
Yeah.
When I lived in Tulsa, I was on Riverside.
Yeah. 45th. I live right next to the disc golf course.
I was 81st in Riverside. I was in those apartments across from where the fucking casino is now.
Oh yeah, no, my brother lived in those for a while.
Really?
Yeah. But we lived on 45th, so I could walk across the street to play disc golf every fucking day.
Nice.
But yeah, in that house, like I had all my Pop Funkos or Funko Pops, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Yeah.
And all of my
expensive is what we
expensive as fuck. All of my nerdy shit had to stay in the sunroom. It was a rule.
How sun was the sunroom?
It was a converted garage that was turned into a sunroom.
Was it letting in a lot of sun?
No.
Okay, I was worried about your collectible getting fucking sun damage.
Oh no, I had blackout curtains.
Okay, thank you. Because you said I hear sunroom and all my collectibles had to stay in there, and I'm like,
no.
Oh no.
No.
Like I don't even have these lights going on all the time, except for when I have a guest.
No. But I wasn't allowed to decorate anything inside the house like inside the house
Yeah.
because all of my shit was like, I mean, stolen street signs and Pop Funkos and just random, like it was a hodgepodge of my past that was just either punk or nerdy.
Yeah.
And or just blatantly bumpkin shit. Like I had a pair of cowboy boots that were put in a fucking shadow box. That I got. They're the first dirt bike I had. I got in a wreck and they were fucked up.
Yeah.
But
it was memory. It was symbolic.
They were just like torn to shreds by fucking barbed wire. And my dad made a shadow box and put them in there. He was like, they're still covered in blood. So
that's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of it?
I
don't have to worry about it. I want to see it sometimes. What I'm trying to say. Like that sounds cool.
I'm not sure if they still have them. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I'd like to see it. That sounds cool.
Yeah, downsizing from that house because it was a 2-bedroom to a studio apartment was I had to like they live out in Bristow. They have a shop and I went over there the other day and my mom was like, "Yeah, and that top row of boxes all your shit." I was like, "Cool. I don't know what's in there."
Yeah.
But thanks for hanging on to it for me. When I was supposed to be getting married, we went in jointly with my parents and my brother to buy 50 acres out in Bristow.
Oh, okay.
There was the house on the land already, and it was like a log cabin, fucking basement, 2 stories, awesome house. After the breakup, obviously, I wanted to stay back in Tulsa because everything I do is here.
Yeah.
Or there.
Yeah.
Since we're in Bartlesville right now.
Shout out to Bartlesville and Tulsa. I'm your hat. I'm Tulsa's hat.
But, yeah, no, going out there is really fun because it kind of reminds me of growing up out in Verdigris. We had 10 acres out there and just shot guns all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I can't count how many times I've been hurt doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, dirt bike wrecks. I got shot one time.
Where at? And with what? Buckshot or?
No, it was a 22.
Oh, okay.
Revolver. We were going out to cut some trees down on the public land next to our house. And obviously when you go out there, you take a gun because there's animals out there.
Yeah.
So I had this 22 revolver. It was a piece of shit my dad bought me.
Did you shoot yourself?
Gravity shot me.
A likely story.
So I had holstered my pistol we were in the shop, and I holstered my pistol, and I didn't fucking clip it. And my brother started fucking with me, and like trying to punch me basically.
Yeah.
And I jumped, and it fell out and fell straight to the ground on its hammer, pointed directly at my leg. Went off. I'm like, oh shit. Like it was more shell shock than anything because it was so fucking loud.
Yeah.
So my dad's like, all right, everybody okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, are you good? He's like, yeah. So we started like kind of looking ourselves over and he goes, ah, fuck. It's like, look at your fucking leg. It's like, what? And I see this tiny little hole in my jeans.
Oh.
I'm like, God damn it, man. And I didn't feel anything at the time, so I was like, maybe it just grazed me because my brother called me. He made a freaking tombstone joke, and he's like, "I'll be your Huckleberry." So I started chasing him. I'm like, there can't be a bullet in my leg if I'm running after someone.
Yeah.
There's no way. So my mom's taking a nap. My dad and brother are like, we're not telling mom about this yet. We're gonna go to minor emergency and figure out if you're actually shot. Before we did that, they actually ran a...
Figure out if you're actually shot?
Yeah.
That's a great line.
That's my family. Yeah. Like, among all the shit that's happened to me, like, pain-wise, that was like...
Just a little...
Just, that's like a 2 on the scale of Jace's hurt. But we go to minor emergency after they had run a metal detector that was covered in cobwebs over my open wound.
What the fuck?
Because that would totally work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. But we go to minor emergency, and they're like, all right, we're going to do an x-ray.
By the way, I just love the way that I love the phrase minor emergency.
Yeah, no, like, we didn't go to the hospital. We went to a fucking clinic to make sure I was shot or not. But yeah, they do the X-ray, and like we're sitting in the waiting room, and the burning starts in my leg, and I'm like, fuck. Oh yeah, no, this is definitely real.
The adrenaline and everything's wearing off.
Oh yeah, like it took about an hour and a half for me to start really feeling anything. And then they did the X-ray, and it was really painful. They were like, they brought the X-ray out. Like they didn't like show me on a wall. They just held it up. They were like, "You have a bullet in your leg. Go to the fucking hospital." It was a really fun moment for me. Like, Dad, why? He's like, "Well, money."
True story.
I mean,
Yeah.
As an adult now, yeah, reality.
Yeah.
Unless you're like on fire or bleeding, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, and it's probably good that I don't with that philosophy. But yeah. But we went to the hospital, and as soon as we get there, a fucking TPD officer walks in to interview me.
Yeah.
Or investigate. It's like, so no one you shot yourself, or did one of them shoot you? And I was like, gravity shot me, you cunt. Because normally on revolvers there's a safety feature, unless they're shitty and from China, where the hammer has to be pulled back for the pin to get hit.
Yeah.
This one didn't have that. So it just hit the pin and fired. But I'm looking at this dude, and I'm like, if one of them had shot me, I would have shot him back. The fuck? No. Like, this isn't like, it's not a crime. Like it was an accident. He was like, okay, for sure. Was very like accusatory of my brother and dad sitting there in the room with me. Like,
isn't it great sometimes when it feels really shady sometimes like that shit?
Yeah. That's the bullet in my leg though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No, it's still in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
airport stuff you had to look at in pictures?
I thought that was going to be a problem, to be totally honest with you. Whenever the first time I flew after, I was like walking through, I was like, are they going to fucking stop me? No, it's not enough metal to actually show up. But
good to know.
No, whenever I was in the hospital, they were like, I was in the middle of playing competitive soccer. I was traveling around the country, playing OPL league, and they were like, well, if we take the bullet out of your leg, we'll have to tear a shit ton of muscle out of your right leg to get to it. And I was like, how bad would it be if you just left it in there? And they were like, well, it'll push its way out. I was like, okay, cool. Let's go with that one. So I can keep kicking things for fun. No, it's super fucking painful still. Like it's...
Yeah, it's a foreign body in your body. Yeah.
You can actually fucking feel one of the pieces of it still in my leg.
That's fucking
it's
gross.
Like it's right.
That's fucking gross.
It's right in front of my. It's right in front of my shin, and like you can feel it trying to push its way out. If I walk too much in a day, I start feeling kind of pressure on the front of my shin. I'm like, just fall out already.
Well, man, it's about that time. You got any questions for me? The great Jace Kinzer on Unloading Meat.
What made you want to start doing this podcast?
It's a fucking good question. Just gotta say it. Honestly, podcasts like Two Bears, One Cave, Tiger Belly with Bobby Lee and stuff like that, those I can honestly say saved my life. During COVID, at the height of it and stuff, I got pretty fucking low when, I deal with depression, anxiety. I lost my marriage during COVID. Like I lost everything pretty much.
Yeah.
I went off the deep end during COVID. Became a real recluse, and I was just looking for somebody or just things to watch and stuff. There wasn't a lot of entertainment back then a lot of times. And I started watching podcasts on YouTube and stuff, and I started seeing these comedians that were like at the height of their game, like Tom Segura and stuff like that, and they're trapped.
Yeah.
Just like me, they're trapped in their house or whatever, and they needed an outlet. And so they started putting everything into their podcast, the good ones.
Yeah.
Everybody has a podcast, but there's a lot of them that weren't good. There's some that are great. And I could see these guys that were just like chomping at the bit to perform. They were putting everything in their podcasts, and they were telling like real life stories. Bobby Lee talked about his trauma and his sexual abuse, which I can identify with because I have some trauma in my history of sexual abuse. That kind of shit I really clicked with, And that's what made me fall in love with podcasting, was watching these comics just fall in love, as an outlet.
Mhm.
And I just got obsessed with podcasting, and that led me into like, man, I could really do something with the studio over here. And it went through multiple iterations. And, we talked earlier, like there's 10 episodes I think I have filmed that'll never see the light of day. That I tried different things, trying to make this podcast work. And I had a friend that was a longtime roommate here that just refused to help me. And like, I couldn't even get him to be like a fucking guy behind the scenes just working the monitors and shit.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't rely on even a roommate to be like, hey, can you be around the corner and just fucking monitor this shit? He couldn't even give me the time of day on that shit. So like, ended up, I had to kick him out because also just personal shit. But, and that's what it turned into.
Well, I think you're doing a great fucking job.
Thanks, man.
'Cause this is awesome. Everyone you've had on here, I think, is like just wonderful. You bringing light to especially Tulsa comedy.
Thanks.
Like we're an interesting group of people,
Yeah.
for sure. Outliers for sure, and voices that probably should be heard
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, my second guest ever was Missy.
Love that.
Well, technically, as far as recording, we had some. Lynn K reached out and did an episode, but we had some issues on hers. Then it became the third episode.
Mhm.
But Missy came in, and like at the beginning of this, once I did that open mic, I was like, "Hey, I'm launching this podcast. I need guests. Anybody want to come on?" And I was just asking for anybody.
Yeah.
And the first two people were Lynn K and Missy. And I'll always be forever fucking grateful to them because they didn't have to do that.
No.
And they didn't know me. And I'll especially, not that I'm trying to be sexist, but like as women, they're agreeing to come out from Tulsa to Bartlesville to a stranger's house and record.
Yeah.
That's a big ask, just coming from a guy. Sometimes, just I can ask. I can identify with that or respect that. But Missy came out.
You're
here.
aware of what stigma that might bring.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
try to be aware of that.
The fact that you're aware of that, though, tells me that you're not a bad person.
Well, I mean, I'm the only boy, and I have two older sisters, so I've been
Okay.
raised with women. I have two daughters, and I've been married twice, so I've always been around women, and
Yeah.
just always been respectful and just not protective, but protective in a way. But it's just like I've always been mindful of women
Mhm.
and respectful. Just my upbringing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So except for my first wife, who's a cunt, but
Fuck you.
I
I don't know you, but fuck you.
But yeah, that lost topic. No, but you know what I mean? Like, so I just always been mindful of that. So when Misty came in here and we had a fucking fantastic episode, and my second episode out was like a 2-hour episode or something. It was just a great fucking episode. And this part will be trimmed, but like, I really got to know her there. And I've told Trash and I told her this, and Preston was here too whenever she brought him out
Yeah.
here.
I remember them. We hung out the night before they came
Oh, really?
out here. Yeah.
And
That's how I found out that you were doing podcasts.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh shit. And I didn't really know you well enough yet.
Yeah.
I was like, should I hit him up and see if he wants to have me on? Because
Yeah.
that's something I might be interested in.
Yeah.
Even though I've never done this before. But you're doing a really good job, dude.
Well, thanks, man. Like
Um,
I this is my passion, as you can see. Like I really want people to see. Like I feel that my stand up and my podcasting are both like symbiotic. I can't separate them. I have to have them together.
Yeah.
They feed each other. There's stories that come up on a podcast that I'll work into a stand up bit, and vice versa. There's things that work in different mediums.
Yeah.
And there's times where I can't get booked, or there's times where I don't have the gas money to get up to fucking Tulsa sometimes, 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So I'll invest that energy into here, and it's still very rewarding. Because like I said, I learned that from the podcast of like Bert Kreischer and them of like, hey, if you can put your time and focus in this and actually make it something that's still entertaining, you can still scratch that itch.
I think that like the whole like podcast switch during the pandemic was really like it changed the scene of like what comedy can be.
Yeah.
But do you remember when people were trying to do fucking like video chat stand up? That was so cringy.
Yeah, like Scott.
Like
it was like that Gal Gadot fucking Skype song.
it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
I know people have probably talked shit on this already. I'm not original about hating it.
Yeah.
But I watched one stand up, like it was like a 30-minute set that this person was doing over what is the
Skype or
not Skype, it's the one that beat out Skype. God damn it. What is it called? Zoom. It was a Zoom call stand up set.
Oh shit. What could
And-
go wrong there?
fucking everything because like what do you think's gonna happen there?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like it's like doing. I honestly compare it to outdoor comedy. Like I've seen people doing outdoor comedy. I'm like that doesn't sound conducive to laughter or the laughter reaching me and letting me know that it landed.
Yeah. I will say, like, between the stand-up and the podcasting world, it has helped me also just kind of hit where you're talking about is you also got to know your audience and know how to adjust your sets for what you're performing to.
Yep.
Last night, by the time this aired, last night I had a 10-minute set at Baby Roos. I actually went out at 11 minutes. Roscoe invited me out there, and he didn't have to do that. Like I got booked for the Go Theater in June.
Nice.
And so I'm getting like about 10 minutes there, and that's my first time doing a bigger set, really, as far as 10+ minutes, kind of stuff like that.
Do you do like mostly clean comedy or
no?
Okay,
I'm pretty filthy.
That's what so I did Looney Bin. Roscoe talked me into going to Looney Bin one time and putting my name in the drawing, and I brought a person, so I got to go up. And my version of butt is fuck, and my version of is cunt.
Yeah.
So, like, it was the most... I mean, I did well.
Yeah.
But the entire time, I could feel that real part of me sitting back there going, Jace, stop acting like you're someone different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've been there a couple times. I will say that as far as... I don't know if it'll be cut or trim, but I'm trying to be honest.
Yeah.
That as far as open mics in Tulsa, I love all the open mics that we have. There's some great ones. But as far as an open mic with an actual comedy crowd... That's about the only one.
Yeah.
Aside
from other comics being there.
Yeah, but the reason is they do their open mic right before they have their paid shows. So the guests are already there getting drinks and stuff, and they're there for a comedy show. They want to laugh, and so they're more. It's actually a better audience for just an actual general crowd.
Yeah.
I will say I don't like the rules too, but I can understand them from a point of view of. As a business, they're giving a live mic to a complete stranger in front of paid people that are getting ready to go to a show.
Yeah.
So they are trying to be careful.
They don't know what you're going to go up there and do.
Yeah. So they have rules from the open mic. But then what I've also learned is, if you're somebody like Roscoe or somebody that gets booked to host it or does weeks or something like that, or even the book people, they can be filthy.
They have free reign.
They have free reign. They're looking for trust. So what I saw from there was, hey, we don't know you yet, so we don't trust you yet, so be clean. Here's 4 or 5 minutes, and then if we build a trust with you, eventually you can be a headline or something here, and then go free reign. That's what my understanding was.
So I first time I went up at Looney Bin, I was walking up and saying, "Don't say fuck, don't say fuck, don't say fuck." Get up there, and I was like, "How the fuck are y'all doing tonight?" And I said, "Sorry, that's my one," and then just didn't cuss the entire rest of the time, which is totally out of character for me. It was just felt wrong.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't say no to doing clean comedy ever again. It
pays better.
It pays way fucking better, and you get booked on a lot more stuff.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite mobile banking app such as Cash App. Man, I love using Cash App, especially when I'm doing things other than buying drugs. Cash App.
But yeah, I fucking this nerdy shit is that's my brand.
I love this. I mean, this is my stuff. I mean, it's nostalgia for a thing. Like I collected growing up. I had Star Wars and stuff like that, and Power Rangers. Really big into all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 17, 18, I went to college and moved out. And around that time, I was living in Tulsa, Riverside. My parents had a house fire, and we lost everything.
Oh shit!
So like everything I had from my childhood, toys wise, just fucking destroyed. It wasn't enough for the fire; it was from the water damage from the fucking fire. The what do you call it? The
sprinklers?
Not the sprinkler. The fucking fire department. They had the fucking hoses and shit to put out the fire. So whatever did get fire damage got water damaged.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, we were just 2 fronts ruined.
Oh. I've done a lot of remodel work on houses that have been like house fires for electricians are a shit show.
Yeah,
having to fucking go back in after that shit is scary as hell.
It was my mom's brand new dryer that shorted out, and that's what caused the fire. She had a washer and dryer, and it was right next to the garage, and they had a 2-story house in Copan. I don't know if you know where Copan is. It's like right on the border. But she started to load, and she had her and the dogs in there, and started smelling smoke, and the dogs alerted her, and she got out, and the dryer exploded or caught a fire, and her brand new Jeep SUV of the Patriot, I think it was.
Yeah.
She had that in the garage right next to the washer and dryer, and it got to that and exploded the Jeep and took the whole fucking second story of the house off.
Holy fuck.
Just a gigantic. It looked like fucking like we had a fucking terrorist attack on our fucking house. Like
I don't mean to laugh at that.
No,
But still, like fuck.
Let's see. I'll find it later. I have pictures of it on my Facebook, but it looks like big craters out of the fucking thing. But yeah, like lost all that shit. So I didn't collect for a while, and then around my first wife, I started collecting like WWE action figures. I'm big into wrestling, and I had this wall like all wrestling figures. And then around that divorce, lost it all, sold it all. You know, things happen. During the last one of the fights we had, I had a big replica Star Wars Lego Millennium Falcon and an X-Wing, and she fucking threw it and shattered them all.
Dude, I'm gonna use my 401k when I retire to buy the Death Star Lego set.
Yeah.
Because I don't have $3,000 for that right now, but that would make my heart happy.
That was one of the first things when I got a little bit of money, like after my first divorce. I had the Lego Millennium Falcon up there now. I rebought it because I was like, I have to have it again.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of Lego stuff, but I really want a good Slave One, Boba Fett ship. You can't even call it Slave One now. It's now called like the Boba Fett ship because they don't want to use the word slave now.
The PC slave ship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking Slave One.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you it wasn't a black guy that fucking came up with that idea.
No.
To rename it.
I will say
he's a bounty hunter. Like
there's one renaming that I fully support in the Brady Theater.
Okay.
Fuck that. So I went. Evan.
Can you elaborate? I'm not sure why I'm not following.
He was a Klans member.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now,
and since Garrett's been on and explained how familiar we are with the Klan and Verdigris.
Shit.
Oh, it's so we weren't in high school at the same time. He graduated a year before I was a freshman.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we all fucked with the Klan out there. It was fun as fuck. Like we'd go down, like it was this.
To clarify, you fucked with them, not fucked with them. Like
no, we threw things at
Okay,
them.
good, yeah.
We did not fuck with them like that. Sorry, I look Aryan as hell.
The local Walmart's all sold out of fucking white sheets, even the kid sizes.
It just reminded me of Django when they're like, I can't see shit in this thing.
I love that's one of my all-time favorite scenes of like any movie. Like, is that whole fucking raid scene
it's like,
with
my
Jonah
wife
Hill
was up all night cutting holes in
you know,
these
grateful
sheets.
motherfuckers.
I can't see shit in this thing.
I love dark humor like that. I love
Yeah.
the worst situations. So I'm watching Barry right now. Barry is on HBO.
Yeah.
It's Bill Hader. I don't know if you ever watched it.
I haven't. I just got. So I moved in with my new roommate, and I finally have streaming services back. Through my breakup, I had to sell all my shit, basically PS4 and everything. So I lost all my streaming services.
Barry on HBO is my new fucking like all-time favorite show. It's Bill Hader, who's one of my all-time favorite guys on SNL. He's just hilarious. He's also from Tulsa.
Yeah, his I believe it's his father that comes into Arnie's all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't been there. Where's Arnie's at?
Arnie's, it's across the street from it used to be Woody's. It's Red's now.
Okay.
It's Blue Dome District. Like literally, the Blue Dome is connected to Arnie's.
Okay.
Love that bar. But yeah, no. Bill Hader's. I believe it's his dad that comes in there all the time. I didn't want to cut you off earlier.
No, go ahead.
But you had mentioned something about like childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And so like, I can't remember. You didn't elaborate on what it was.
Do you want that to be one of your questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Real talk. I was sexually assaulted like in my teens. It's a little hazy on the year. I want to say I was like 11 or 12. It was young. It was my best friend. I'm not gonna say names, but like they were big into the church and stuff like that, and he forced me to blow him. And then it became a thing of like, if you tell anybody, nobody's gonna believe you because we're in the church, and him and his mom kind of like they were like the church people, and like it was one of those things where I couldn't tell anybody, and if like you told anybody, nobody's gonna believe you because you're not with the church and kind of shit, and that kind of stigma happened, and that's why I'm also not very religious, and that kind of fucked with me with church and religion a lot.
I was raised in a Southern Baptist church, and like the psycho shit that they forced into our heads was just honestly crazy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand, like even as a kid at a certain point I was like, you realize what you just said was fucking stupid, right?
Yeah.
So I don't believe in God. Like
I'm atheist. I'm fully atheist.
I wouldn't call myself an atheist. I believe there's
Agnostic would probably be the more term
yeah,
for me I go
agnostic
for.
would probably be more accurate for me. But the God I believe in is a 12-year-old playing Sims. It's really angsty, and every once in a while he just yanks the ladder out of the pool.
My thing is like I'm not so like I dabble between atheism and agnostic just because of like basically like I'm not stupid enough to say there's nothing out there. I'm not smart enough to say there's absolutely nothing out there. There might be something out there. Might I'm open to the chance of that there might, but until then, like I'm not fucking weighing in on it.
Yeah,
like it's not my thing.
I really don't value any of my opinions yet. I'm 24 years old. Like I don't have enough life experience yet for anyone to take anything thought-wise that I've just come up with.
Yeah.
Like wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I'm 34. I've been divorced twice, tried to commit suicide twice. You know, depression, anxiety, sexual assault. You know what? I've had that shit happen. You know, I've had a lot of trauma and shit like that. So, like, I'm on the other side of it now, and fuck it. I don't want to say I feel invincible, but, like, just nothing really phases me too much anymore. I try not to.
Yeah, so I said that my grandparents raised my brother and I mostly, and grandfather was a drill sergeant in Korea.
Okay.
Soft-spoken but very scary man. Honestly, like, he didn't look threatening at all until he was mad, and he would just give you this look, but he never did anything. My grandmother, however, was abusive as fuck.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how he idly sat by and watched that shit happen. But, yeah, no, that was fucking debilitating as a kid. However, they didn't have a trampoline, and over there we were allowed to watch WWE, but not at, like, our actual house.
Yeah.
Which giving two kids that entertainment and then saying, here's a trampoline, turns into my brother and I beating the ever-loving shit out of each other. Oh, I was Rey Mysterio, he was fucking Triple H, and we would just fight. Since you shared your side of, like, the trauma thing, I would like to share mine before I get done.
Dude, you're perfectly fine. I'm just waiting. Literally going to be, like, right here in a second. But yeah, like so, like that was my trauma was just the sexual assault from there, and then like basically it made me my whole life just I'm run on shame. Like I'm wired now for shame. Like I'm a very shame driven individual. I went through therapy after my second divorce or second wife left with me, and I've worked through a lot of shit in therapy. Therapy really saved me a lot. And
I got back in therapy recently, and it's
really
it's uncovering a lot of shit that I've repressed from my past, and I forced myself to not, like, I stay busy for a reason. Like one of the people I work with at the bar they were like, why do you work yourself into the dirt so often? I'm like, so I don't think about things.
Yeah, that's facts.
I was like, I'm not career driven. I'm don't think about your shit driven.
Yeah.
Like I was able to actually watch a little bit of the one you did with Garrett.
Yeah.
I was like, I know Garrett well enough to know how he is.
Yeah.
And actually we were on the same job site about a month ago.
Really?
So he works for a bricking company and I'm an electrician.
Yeah.
So we were working on I don't know if I should name the company.
You can just censor it.
It was a bank.
Okay.
But we were working and we were just running into each other every single day.
Sure.
It was really fun, actually. But I don't know where I was going with that.
But you saw him on the episode. Like,
yeah, no.
Oh yeah, I honestly think the Garrett one was one of my better ones.
It was really good. I saw it, like, when I was listening, he was talking about his mom, and I was like, okay, so we can, like, get into, like, dark, like, deep shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know if that was going to be comfortable. That's why I was like, I don't know if you want to share your...
I want you to be comfortable. I'll be comfortable on everything. And like I said, once it gets to the editing bay...
I'm an open book on anything. That's what I was getting into with, like, my grandparents, all that trauma. And then when they passed away... I didn't feel anything, which was kind of weird. But I think that was just basically from me, like, resenting their existence, which is fucking... now that I'm older and like I've had time to think about it, really sad. But I didn't feel anything. And I make jokes about, like, I have jokes about my grandparents dying. But I think that helps me deal with that shit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us. I mean, I have that thing where it's like, you know, in the worst times, I'm the first one to crack jokes or just nervous laughter kind of thing. Like I'm the guy that's gonna laugh at a funeral, like that fucking lyric says.
Yeah. But like you were talking about, I guess you were mentioning sexual abuse.
Yeah.
I didn't experience that, more so than I was groomed. So I started hanging out in Tulsa whenever I was like really young, like 15, and hanging out with people that were probably 25, like mid 20s.
Yeah.
And all of the girls I was hooking up with.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was probably about 20 that I like, my brother mentioned, he was like, you know, you were getting like statutory raped that entire time, right? It's like, oh fuck, that's why I like older women now.
Yeah.
I've been You've
been wired to it, yeah.
Yeah.
As an electrician, yeah. You got wired.
I got wired to that, yes.
Yeah.
Which is it's just fucking frightening. Like my ex-fiance is 34. I'm 24.
Yeah.
I met her when I was 18.
I mean, if we want to talk real talk, I identify as bi now. I came out after that because I repressed my feelings for men for 20 years because getting shame driven, and anytime that came up or anytime I had like a feeling like it was weird, like keeping it repressed like in high school and stuff, I would have these like urges like, oh, that guy, I should kiss that guy or something like that. Then I was like shame, instant shame and shit like that. And I just didn't deal with that shit for years. And, suicide attempts and stuff like that, just didn't deal with it until therapy. And I really came out. When I had a suicide note from my second wife whenever she was leaving me.
Mm-hmm.
And I converted it to like a goodbye note when she left me. And that was the first time I ever told anybody. And I'd never even said it I couldn't even say it in public. I could talk out loud. It was, I wrote it down as a suicide note of like my history. And that was the first time I ever told anybody. And then through therapy and stuff, I can now be more open about it and talk about it. But even now, that's influenced a lot of shit, and it's like clicked like real talk. No, we're not gonna get in there. Just like I make blowjob jokes on set now, but like it happens now, and it happened back from my trauma. I'm kind of wired that way now.
So my brother came out to me as bisexual, and he started crying, and it really bothered me that he thought I would be, because he was like, I thought you would be. I was scared that you were gonna be mad or like wouldn't like me anymore. I was like, why the fuck would I not like you for that?
That shame, it's a scary thing.
I felt like I mean, in hindsight, hearing myself say, why would you think that, was kind of disenfranchising his fear of it. But I was like, I love you no matter what, dude.
Yeah.
And like watching him cry about it, I was like, it made me angry.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck anyone that would ever make you feel lesser.
Yeah.
For that.
Like, and that's kind of how I am with my family now.
No one else's fucking business.
I have relatives that I don't talk to anymore. Because of, and they'll label this other stuff, but it's this.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. I mean, it's just part of my family I don't talk to anymore. Because of this, and it's just I'm not gonna ever. My thing is like I don't need love with an asterisk.
No,
I don't need like, hey, we'll hang out with you as long as you don't talk about this or dress this way or anything like this or bring anybody around. We'll hang out with you.
I am unapologetically myself always.
That's where I am in 2023. I'm finally myself. Like
I've always been that way. I've always had a rule that I don't do anything I don't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously to an extent, like I wake up in the mornings, I don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
But I do it.
Yeah.
But outside of that scope, like what keeps me alive, I don't do shit I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something for you or with you, it's because I want to.
Okay.
It's just a steadfast rule I have for
and
myself.
Like I'm learning.
It protects you.
Yeah. I'm learning to get more like that. Like I said, growing up, I'm very shame driven, and also as a big dude, like I'm the type of big dude that like always try to make myself the smallest person in the room. Like I was always like aware of how big I am, so I'm always like trying to like be cautious of like sidestepping, and I don't want to make a big scene. I don't want to be an embarrassment. I don't want to be the fucking stick out in the fucking room. So that's just how I'm developed and how I perceive myself.
I was the exact opposite of that. So I'm the biggest I've ever been. When I was 21, I was probably about 7, and weighed 100 pounds soaking wet, very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I had been tiny my entire life with a large older brother, and his friends were massive.
Yeah.
So I just got the shit kicked out of me all the time. They would play a game trying to drown me sometimes in the fucking pool.
Fuck.
Shout out to my brother's best friend.
Shout out, I guess.
He still has a bite mark on his leg.
Facts. You left your mark.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, no, growing up, like, being, like, bullied for being tiny
Yeah.
was really weird. And, like, I still to this day make self-deprecating jokes about me being small.
Yeah.
And one of the bartenders I work with the other day was stopping me. They were like, "You're not small anymore. You know that, right?" And I was like, "But I still have that fucking, like, little man, like,
Yeah.
complex."
Yeah.
To a certain extent. I'm like, I know I have to, like, punch up to actually hit.
I'm like, I've always been that big guy that's aware that I'm a big dude with tattoos, so I try to always I'm like always trying to make myself look less threatening, kind of thing.
Oh, I had to make myself look more threatening.
Oh, I'm always aware of that, and I'm also like a big teddy bear kind of guy. Like, it takes a lot to get angry. I'm that guy that, like, if you can really get me angry, really get me there, run. Because then I fucking go nuts. Like, but it takes a lot to get that out of me.
My fight or flight is always fight, but that's just out of survival instincts because I know I'm tiny.
See, my thing is, like, as soon as my body, like, giving blood, there's certain things that, like, as soon as it happens, bam, I'll just black out. Just instant blackout. And I'm very claustrophobic. I found that out because I tried to do a sleep study for, like, my sleep apnea.
That.
And they strapped me to the bed and put all that shit on me, and I lasted an hour and had a full-blown panic attack. They had to call an ambulance to get me on oxygen because I was strapped down. And they're like, "You know you're claustrophobic, right?" I'm like, "Well, I do now." Like, like, never was professionally diagnosed with claustrophobia, but till then. But yeah,
See,
and that's why I can't do the Stellar sometimes. Like, I'm very careful with the Stellar.
Those low ceilings make me, like, I mean, it feels comfy in there sometimes, and then when it gets packed and, like, there's nowhere to sit, and I go into full panic mode.
Like when Roscoe and Katie had their proposal thing, when it was slammed, I was so triggered. Like,
I had left. I got cut from work early enough that I thought I was gonna make it for that, and I walk up and they're outside, and Katie's like, "Look at my ring." I was like, "Well, fuck, I missed it." Shit.
I did that, and, like, so, like, the Cellar's great. I love the place. It's just for my claustrophobia, my shit with, like, anti-anxiety and all that shit. I have to do it in waves. So, like, I'll go down there, sign up, have a beer or something like that. 15, 20 minutes.
It's kind of like building a tolerance too.
Yeah, and so, like, I'll go up and down. I can't even go in the bathrooms. The bathrooms freak me the fuck out. Like, that's how hard
you don't want to do coke off their mirror?
Nah, I'm not a big cokehead yet.
Yeah. I used to do blow, but no, not anymore.
Now I just blow. Yeah, touche.
We're unloading meat.
Yeah.
Oh, my so my handle on, like, any social media is Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And that's been my gamer tag for a while on anything. And it came from one of my friends one night. We were at this hotel party, just drunk as fuck. And I think I had smoked DMT that night.
Jesus.
But
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ is right. But she was so drunk that she said
the Christ is
Jesus Christ, but she said Jesus Christ. And I looked at her, I was like, I'm stealing that. And then just sat back down out of my DMT trip. I was like, that was fucking clever. I know you didn't mean to do it, but clever.
Can I just say that Christ is right sounds like some kind of, like, Christian theme Price is Right spinoff? Come on down.
It's the VeggieTales version.
And you know what? They come on down. The Stairway of Heaven.
Look under your seat, everyone. You get salvation.
And you get a halo. And you get a halo. And you get a halo. God damn it. Well, Jace, man, where can everybody find you at? Where can they reach you at? Book you? Where are you available at? Instagram? Anything?
On Twitter, it's at Jesus Christ.
Okay.
On Instagram, Jace Kinzer. And find me on Facebook. My name's Jace Kinzer.
Nice, man. Well, dude, I just gotta say thank you so much for bringing on the show. This
Thank
has
you
been
for
a
having
fun
me.
episode. I can't wait to go back and watch this and like edit it and like work on it.
I cannot wait for you to send it to me because I'm excited.
It's gonna be a fucking great episode, dude. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
Unloading
having me.
Meat. Guys, that has been Jace Kinzer. This guy has been Jared Ralphie Allen. Take care. Peace.
Unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is.
Bye. Have a great time.